And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
This week, the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, which appeared to be sailing along relatively smoothly despite some contentious hearings a few days back, got perhaps temporarily blown off course with allegations brought by Christine Ford over things that allegedly happened 36 years ago when they were both in high school. Now, timing is always an important element of accusations, and you have to look seriously at serious allegations, and I think everybody's going to do that, but the timing is very questionable. The Democrats clearly had this information for months, didn't do anything about it, and let's face it, Judge Kavanaugh was sitting for over a decade on the court considered to be that closest to the Supreme Court of the United States. In effect, the second highest court in the land, and none of these allegations came forward. He was on a short list of every person in Washington, D.C. for a seat on the Supreme Court. Nothing was said. And then at the 11th hour and 59th minute, Dianne Feinstein rolls out Ms. Ford's allegations. So now she has the opportunity to be heard, and she should be. She should be heard by the Senate Judiciary Committee under oath and subject to cross-examination. She shouldn't be allowed to call all the rules. And the one in particular that she's trying to set forth that really should be troubling to everybody is the notion that Judge Kavanaugh should speak before she should. You know, one of the basic tenets of American jurisprudence is that you have the right to face your accuser and have a right to defend yourself against any allegations, accusations, or claims. That's the way the process has always been and always should be. So ultimately, you have to think of it in these terms. The timing leads a lot of questions. Notably, that when you have the votes, you vote. And when you don't have the votes, you talk. There's a lot of conversation about the Democrats wanting to push this off, the Kavanaugh nomination, as far as they possibly can, hoping upon hope that they can take the Senate in the fall and thereby block any confirmation of any Supreme Court justice put forward by Donald Trump or his administration. Let's see how all that works out. But in the meantime, there's another question hanging out there that doesn't seem to be getting anywhere near the media attention, and that's with respect to Congressman Keith Ellison, who was the number 2 person at the Democratic National Committee and a candidate for the highest law enforcement post in Minnesota, the Office of Attorney General, who had similar charges brought against him. There ought to be a same standard, folks, for whether it's a Republican or whether it's a Democrat. And right now, there doesn't seem to be that standard in place. So there's a lot of scrutiny that needs to be put upon this entire process. And I still believe that Judge Kavanaugh's nomination will move forward and that he'll be successfully confirmed. Meanwhile, this week, some political news out of the Lone Star State, where a Texas state Senate seat, something you normally wouldn't pay that much of attention to, was captured by Pete Flores, the first time in 14 decades. Quick math, that's 140 years that a Republican has held that seat. Flores was beat by double digits just a couple of years ago. So if there's this gigantic blue wave coming our way, it certainly wasn't washing over Texas, where now the Republicans have 21 out of the 31 state Senate seats there, in a state where the state Senate really holds a lot of sway. See how that works out coming forward into the midterms, which are still a big topic of discussion, centered around the economy. And what news are we getting out of the economy again this week? Incredibly good news for the Trump administration. The Standard & Poor's, all-time high. Dow Jones, all-time high and climbing. Unemployment claims at the lowest rate in half a century. And more important, because we've always said that stock prices shouldn't be the determinant of political success with respect to the economy. More importantly, the right brain stuff, the feelings that people have about the economy, how it affects them, how they're doing, are all up. Consumer confidence and all sorts of indicators of how people feel about the economy and how they're doing are on the plus side for the Republicans coming into this fall election. There's still a lot of ways to go, but stay tuned and watch the economy, because the old James Carville adage of "it's the economy, stupid," still holds true. And that, for now, is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.